This is a 2010 Subaru Forester with the Sport Tech package. My name is Thomas and welcome to my channel. Today I'm tinkering on this vehicle, but not because the dealership gave it to me to review, but instead because I spent my own hard-earned cash to buy it. And it's all thanks to coronavirus or COVID-19 that is currently taking the world by storm. Let me explain. And I really mean it when I say that I would not be the owner of this Subaru if it wasn't for COVID-19. Essentially, in my day-to-day life, I am a full-time automotive videographer and photographer, which is technically classified as a merchandiser that just promotes the sales of goods for a local dealership that I mention in almost every single one of the videos that I make for this YouTube channel. Fish Creek Nissan, 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 who lent me this gorgeous vehicle. Essentially, I run the social media and I also create all the content that's seen on the social media as well. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. And it's a lot of fun. But because for that line of work, I have to be out taking photos, out making videos, they have given me a benefit, and that is driving their vehicles in my day-to-day life. So because of that, I didn't own my own vehicle. And it's worked really well. I've been doing this for over a year and a half now, and it's always gone so smoothly with zero issues. And it's also nice because in my spare time, I get to make videos for this YouTube channel, hence why most of the videos on this channel are about Nissans. If you'd like to know more about what I do and how it all works, I've made an entire video explaining it all that'll link at the end of this video. But because of COVID-19 and the effects that it has had on our economy, no matter where you are in the world, things have not been going very smoothly, and there hasn't been a lot of people buying cars in the last little bit. So what they had to do was lay a ton of people off, and I was sadly one of those people. And because of that, that means that I also lost my vehicle privileges. And I know the same thing has happened to tons of people, because not only has my second job as a part-time personal trainer at a local gym also been taken away because all the gyms have closed, but just in my little bubble, so many people have had the exact same thing happen to them. And while yes, these are temporary layoffs and the gym will be closed temporarily and everyone's lost their job temporarily, we still don't know how long this is going to go on for. Yeah, it could be 2 or 3 months, but it also could be half a year or an entire year. So all in all, that is why I had to purchase this 2010 Subaru Forester. Now, none of this is me complaining. I'm happy to buy this Subaru. I'm happy to hunker down while COVID-19 blows over, but the eternal optimist that I am saw an opportunity here. And I've always wanted to know what it would be like to be a full-time YouTuber. And I thought, now since I'm temporarily laid off from both my jobs, at least I hope it's temporary, I thought, what else is going to keep me from going absolutely insane now that we're supposed to be doing social distancing and quarantining ourselves? And I thought, this channel, these videos, these things that I love working on so much in my spare time, I can now put 100% of myself into. So I'm now going to be a full-time YouTuber working on these automotive videos until COVID-19 blows over, unless things go really well, and then maybe I'll be a full-time YouTuber forever. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, there has never been a better time to join our small but growing family. So smash that subscribe button like you'd smash the big red button to nuke coronavirus if you could. Also, I'm sure that if you subscribe to the channel that your immunity to the COVID-19 virus will just go through the roof. My goal over the next little while is to create as many high quality automotive videos as possible while this whole COVID-19 thing is going on, so you at home can stay entertained and don't get bored out of your mind. But moving on from that, I'm genuinely interested to know how the COVID-19 coronavirus is affecting you, your family, and the people around you. So leave me a comment down below letting me know what's going on with your situation. I read every single one of your comments, and I am really genuinely interested to know what's going on with you, especially if you're outside of Canada, as I'm getting mostly Canadian news here. I think that during this time, it's really important that we work together, we stay at home, and let the professionals do their jobs, especially listening to the advice that they give us, like staying at home and social distancing. And just before I get into one of the main reasons you're here, this Subaru, I wanted to say a massive thank you to all of the healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, and everyone else working on the front line of this whole COVID-19 coronavirus situation. We are very, very much looking forward to a world where there are jobs, sports, and social activities again, and I know that we're all trying our best to help flatten the curve. But now let's get into this Subaru. So why did I buy this specific Subaru? Well, there are 3 main reasons. The first reason is I wanted something from the dealership I worked at, because that's sort of a no-brainer. They're gonna give me a better deal, and they've been so good to me while I've worked there, so buying a car off of them was the least I could do. So I went to their pre-owned lot and I noticed they had this. It was up for 8 grand and I ended up getting it for 5, which isn't a bad deal if you ask me. The second reason is I wanted something cheap, as it's only a temporary ride, and I also just lost both my jobs. So hence going with this car. It's from 2010, has 200 257,000 kilometers on it, but I know that it was still gonna get me from A to B. And the third reason is I have always wanted to own a Subaru. A part of me feels connected to this brand. It's kind of go anywhere, do anything sort of attitude really was attractive to me, so I wanted to drive one for myself. I really like the Outback, and I thought, well, this Forester is pretty dang close to the Outback. Even just the name Forester and Outback scream road trip vehicle to me, and as I love going into the mountains to go on hikes and snowboarding, it couldn't have been better. And for those three reasons, I ended up with this. So I was laid off 2 days ago on Friday, March 20th, 2020. Today obviously being the 22nd. I've had this now for 24 hours. I picked it up yesterday, the 21st. So naturally, I took it home, I cleaned it off, and then I got underneath the hood and I checked it out. And while I've only owned it now for 24 hours, I have found out some very interesting things about it. The first is this nozzle right here. It's weird because it looks like a nose. And if you turn it on, it then looks like the car is coronavirus. I know that's super random, but also there's a dent right above it here as well, and I can't imagine what that would have come from. It's only had one previous owner, and I can promise you that that owner also had a couple of large dogs. There are some pretty bad cracks on the front windscreen as well as the fog lights. And while there are summer tires and rims, it's currently flaunting its winter tires and rims that have, let's say, character. There's 3M on the rear fenders, but not on the hood. And don't even get me started on the gas cap lever. It is probably the bane of my existence at this point. Yesterday, I went to go fuel it up and I couldn't find it. I came along here, I was pressing it to see if it would open, and that didn't work. So I went back inside. I thought there would be a switch underneath the dash or maybe something next to the seat, and there wasn't, and I couldn't find it. So I was there for maybe 5 minutes before I figured it out. Underneath the little mat they gave me from the dealership to keep the actual mats clean, it was hiding, but also it was broken because there was no rubber piece on it. It was just a little piece of metal that was almost hiding under the carpet. I then came around here, and then the gas cap wouldn't open all the way, so I had to take my credit card and I put it inside and then nudge it open for the third time to actually get it to open. And so after that, I came home, and that was one of the first things that I fixed. I put a piece of rubber on it, so now it's a lot easier to grab. And the previous owner installed this aftermarket deck here, and there's a couple of weird things up with it. The first one is it has Bluetooth, but the Bluetooth is only for phone calls. You can't play your music on there. So when I was looking to buy this, I saw there was no USB to connect to my audio. So I thought, perfect, there's Bluetooth. I saw this symbol and I thought, that's not the end of the world. I'll just use Bluetooth and I can deal with that. But then I hooked it up and it's only for phone calls, not for music. That's so weird. The second one is if I press this button here, the screen pops off, and I think this is an anti-theft method, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they have this so you can release the screen and take this inside with you at nighttime, so then people aren't tempted to break into your car to steal it. But it is 10 years old after all, an entire decade and 260,000 kilometers, and that's all that's gone wrong. If you look at it on the bright side, there is actually a lot going for this car as well. For example, blind spots on the Forester are non-existent. It's like driving in a wall of glass. There's barely any blind spots. And I'd even go as far as to say that while there are no fancy sensors and cameras on this vehicle, I don't think you need them. But the visibility doesn't just go around you, the visibility goes through the roof as well. Quite literally, there is one of the biggest sunroofs that I've ever seen on a vehicle from 2010 right above my head. I even get heated seats and a dual tip exhaust system. And while I don't think that the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine has the 170 horsepower and 170 pound-foot of torque it did when it was brand new, I can still confidently say I don't think there's any lack of power. And on top of that, the Forester is very spacious as well. And I'm not just talking about the 5 comfy seats, I'm also talking about the amount of storage there is. You could still bring this over to Walmart and prepare for doomsday if you needed to, buying racks and racks of toilet paper if you really had to. You can also fit enough personal protection equipment inside this vehicle to keep a small village safe from coronavirus for an entire year. Overall, it's in great condition, and I can easily say this has another 50,000 kilometers left in it. Mechanically, it's pretty sound, and I can't see anything going wrong anytime soon, let alone getting me around just for the next little while. And at the end of the day, I think my dog Freeway is gonna like this Subaru just as much as I do for the next little while, and that's what's important right now, is we just make sure that we're all lined up so on the other side of this whole COVID-19 pandemic, that we're all right, we can just get back to normal life, having fun and socializing once more like this whole thing never happened, hopefully. Anyway, just remember to stay fit at home and smash that subscribe button if you're new here. It helps the channel out a ton. I'm really looking forward to bringing you all more high quality, frequent automotive content over the next coming months here. My name is Thomas, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. the shit that I do for these videos. This isn't even the right mask. And if you turn it on, it then looks like the car is coronavirus.